Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream. My name is Matt Bailey, National Ambassador for the Scotch Malt Whisky Society. National Ambassador, I said. So good to see you all. Happy Fridays to you all. Thank goodness it's Society Friday, FGISF. Alex, we should incorporate that into something you wrote recently. That'd be a good little hashtag right there, FGISF. Thank goodness it's Society Friday. I hope you're all well. Tonight, it's not a big Friday live stream. We've been going live most of the week, but it's not a big sort of like member gathering Friday live stream like Virtual Pub was last week. I've had a lot of requests asking, both email, messages, text messages, and in person, ask me, when is Virtual Pub coming back? The answer is soon. I'm working on it. We'll have something else in the pipeline to show you all soon, which will be really exciting. And it was really, really, really well received on the when we did it last week. So it'll definitely make a comeback. I have a few bits of news, however, tonight. Some really interesting bits of news here. I'm going to bring up my screen so you can all see what I'm actually talking about here, and it'll actually make a lot more sense. So Mark Garraway says, Glenn Farkless in my glass. You know what? I actually do want to hear what you're all what are you dramming on tonight? What are you all dramming on tonight? Today. What a day. So I'd like to know what you're all dramming on because it's Friday. I hope you've got a dram in your glass and you're ready to go because it's Friday. I hope you're all not too. If you're stuck at home, I hope you're not stuck at home. Your levels are great tonight. Ooh, your levels are great. That's quite a compliment. And maybe because I'm getting the mic distance right, maybe the levels on the system are all going well. I think everything's firing off really nicely. Is it sometimes soft, Rob, or is it sometimes too loud? You let me know. 10.180. You're on 10.180. I'm on 64.80 right here. This one in this glass. The bottle is not on my table. I'm not that organized. I just poured it maybe 10 minutes ago. 64.80 for me. It's going back a bit. It's a lovely drop from Distillery 64. We've had a few 64s recently. I bought a bottle of 64.114 a couple of out turns ago. That was lovely. And we've got all these other casks coming up. Of course, because September. Now, I don't want to go into too much detail just yet, but September is the gathering month. So Bruichladdich BA 7.1. Richie, nice drop. Honestly, top stuff, that one. I remember the Black Arts from back in I think I was first enjoying them around 2011, around there, and it was like Black Art 2 had just come out. Australia didn't see Black Art 1 from my memory. I don't think Australia saw Black Art 1, but Black Art 2 had just come out, and a very small amount came to Australia of Black Art 2, and then Black Arts 3 came out. And this is sort of that era of where I won't bore you to tears with details, but James Busby, which was Coles Group, we're bringing in James Busby, was a winemaker who was and we're bringing in the Bruichladdich range at the time, well before who took it on after them. I'm having a mental blank. Well, it was before Remy bought Bruichladdich. So, but it was. I'm pretty sure it's distributed these days by a spirits platform. Anyway, that's not interesting. I'm saying I like to think about these things. Anyway. Ardbeg Black tonight, still loving it in Vic. Yeah, Ardbeg Black, great whiskey. If you it's Ardbeg also just released their Wee Beastie, which is a 5-year-old age statement whiskey. Well worth having a look at that as well. It's much lighter in profile, I find, than say the 10 or especially the Ugadale. So it's definitely a much more of a summer dramming Ardbeg, if that makes sense. But we do see some Ardbegs throughout the society every so often, which is always fun, bits and bobs. But anyway. There's some events coming up next week, next month that are really worth mentioning. So let's have a look at my my shared screen here. That is just the most warm and inviting looking distillery I've ever seen. And that is, of course, Archie Rose Distillery in Sydney. What a lovely space and what a great team behind it. The reason I'm showing that is because we have some events coming up at Archie Rose next week, and I'd love to see you at them. If you're a Victorian member, the odds of you being at those events are probably second to none. So I'm sorry, but if you're a Sydney member, I'd love to see you there. And there's some tickets available. They've been selling quite well, but there's still just a handful left on the site. And I just want to give you a bit of a sneak peek of maybe some of what's happening up there. But in the meantime, I'd love to keep the comments coming through about what you're dramming on. Whilst I just fix this up here, I'm just getting a bit of a issue with my screen here, but Tell me what you're drinking, because I don't want to bore you to tears with you watching me work out my tech issues here. Here we go. Oh, that was it. Sorry. Okay. My full screen thing stuffed up on me there. Anyway, you're on a 3.280, Yuri. Wow. Okay. There's an era of threes we had throughout the society that ranged from sort of like 3.256 all the way to about 3.285. So there's about 20 casks in that bunch there, or maybe even 256 actually, maybe even 30 casks. And we saw a lot of them. And I think we, as I said before, we were spoiled for choice with old Bemore coming through. And I think we will see more in future. It always goes in waves, but they're keeping a lot of their spirit for themselves at the moment, which makes sense. It's a focus brand for them. But you know what we're doing. What you might see more of at the society in the coming sort of months in out terms, which is exciting, is you're going to see much more diversity of peated spirit available, and that's a great thing. You're going to see much more diversity of not just Isla peat. So we've seen a little bit of 60, well, a little bit. We've seen a lot of 66 casks. We've seen a few 16s now. We've seen a few 16s now and then through, which is affectionately known as Rua de Moor. Try saying that after 6 grams. And we've seen a few other peated examples, codes that are non-Isla peated, or more accurately, anything that's non-Isla, but like more accurately mainland peated whiskey. But we've even seen things which are non-Scottish peated whiskies coming through, and you would have seen some stuff from code 138. So world whiskies that are peated and are quite different. Anyway, back to where I was going with this whole discussion here. This is Archie Rose Distillery. We have some events coming up there next week. Look at that space. We're actually doing the events. I should spell this out. We are doing some of the events are actually inside the distillery. That's exciting. Question from Mark Garraway. Are there any 54s on the horizon? I don't think so. Not at the moment. Well, at least not in the next couple of months. So there's that, again, it's one of those codes that comes here and there. Mark, if I recall correctly, you picked up a bottle of Sensational Sipping, which was the Juicy Oak and Vanilla 54. The only reason I think I remember you getting that is because you posted an awesome photo in the Outback of you enjoying that whiskey. Well, you weren't in the photo, but the bottle was. And it was a photo of, it was a 54 called Sensational Sipping. It was a 17-year-old whiskey. And the other reason I know you got that, not because I just remember that photo, but because I also bought one of those bottles. I loved it. It's all gone now, I'm afraid. But that was a lovely, lovely whiskey. And I bought it entirely on spec and tasting notes, which is what the best way is to do it. Because if you're going to wait until you taste it, then you're going to miss out. But if it's like, I bought it entirely on the tasting notes and the spec, and I was just like, this is an unbelievable whiskey. And it was sensational sipping. It was a very easy sipping, sweet, delightful representation of that character of that distillery, which is, I won't say overrated distillery. I wouldn't say underrated either. I'd say it sits right in the middle, and it's often in a lot of people's whiskey journeys, especially early on. They try the 12-year-old. They might try the Abuna. How about that? I can talk about this distillery without even saying it. That's very easy with these guys because they've got a very distinctive name of Abuna as one of their releases. But most of what we see, in fact, pretty much most, if not all, of what we see from that distillery is either entirely sherry cask maturation or mostly sherry cask with a bit of bourbon cask. That one was a bourbon cask entirely, and it showcased the spirit of that distillery in a very positive way. So there you go. Matt and his photographic memory. I don't have a photographic memory actually, but I don't know. Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't think I do. I remember certain bottlings and certain detail I think stick out for me, and I think they do for all members who come on this journey at the society with us. And we have these moments, and we have these particular casks that we cling on to, if you like, and we go, oh, I remember that amazing bottling, and because it takes you back to a time, and it takes you to an experience, and it takes you to a flavor profile, and it takes you to your olfactory senses pick up on it as well. And you can almost still smell it. You're like, oh, well, I remember that whiskey. And you remember some of the tasting notes. Like, for me, one of them is things like 21.27, Enticement of Sweet Oak, which was a 37-year-old whiskey from Distillery 21 that was just unbelievable whiskey. It was fantastic. And it reminded me of like old mahogany and O cedar polish. And I remember that O cedar polish note because my dad used to rub O cedar into his old work desk out the back of our house. And he had this work desk that was this beautiful old desk with the dovetail joints and everything. And you'd once or twice a year he'd O cedar the desk, and there was a certain aroma that both the wood and the O cedar would give off into the house, and it was quite pungent, but it was also very very welcoming note, and that was whiskey that took me back in time. So that was one of those things that took you back to like your childhood of that smell, and for me that was like that's just a beautiful thing. If the whiskey can transport you to a time and place, and especially if it's really, really good whiskey, you go, well, I'm enjoying that. So, and just like going back on topic, just like this distillery here, just like Archie Rose, at Archie Rose, you walk through that corridor on the right there, and you get this huge whiff of this huge aroma of the new make and the stills running and the concrete floor, and it smells industrious but welcoming, and the smell of the bar and the smell of the oak and everything combined, it's such an experience. And I'm really looking forward to doing this next week with you guys. Anyone who wants to come down, there's a photo of some of the bar crew on a night with a few more people than I think are allowed in the bar these days, but that photo is a few years old now. And here's some photos actually I scoured from last year and the year before. I've only picked a few out of where we had a couple of tables up the middle of the mezzanine, lots of drams, and me making some outrageously terrible cocktails. You should come along just for the terrible cocktails. Trust me, they'll be terrible. So no, I'm just kidding. They won't be terrible. But you know what? I'm not a mixologist. I don't know how to make cocktails. But you're gonna see how, if I can pull this off, then we'll have a bit of fun with it. Why not? That'll be fun. And then I picked some other ones here. There you go. That was what the back bar looked like last year. I'll just zoom in a bit on that one even more so you can see, maybe make out some of the labels that were on there. It was a fantastic evening, each over 3 nights, 3 nights in a row, featuring all the whiskeys off this bar. We went through a bunch. We went through most of those, I think. It was just, hugely exciting evening of great dramming and great conviviality at the bar there. So I'm looking forward to doing it again this year and seeing you there. There's some of the people you run into. If you spot yourself, leave a comment. There's Sally, Felicia, and Tim. Lovely people. This is what the membership of the society is about, is all the lovely members that we have. And that's the mezzanine without anyone in it. So you can see what it looks like when we're going to be there outside of there. And there's the 3 events. There you go. Challenge the Panel, Heresy History, and Distillery Tour. Now I'm going to run through these just for a second. Okay. So Challenge the Panel is where we're going to open up 5 whiskeys. I think 5 or 6. 6. It says 6. We're going to open up 6 whiskeys, and we're going to put them in front of each person without the tasting notes, and we're going to go through them all, and we're going to use flavor to assess what each one is, and then we'll open the tasting notes at the end and be like, so I got germaline, and the tasting panel got germaline, or whatever it is. I got cooked almonds, and they got cooked cashews. So each way, it's going to be quite an experience to actually have challenged the panel. We're challenging the tasting panel of the SMWS, which is a lot of fun. It sounds like one of those really nerdy things that you might not be able to get into, but trust me, it's just meant to be in good fun, and you'll love it. The tickets for that are through Archie Rose's website, on their experiences page of their website. So check that out. It's all, by the way, everything is COVID safe, everything's socially distanced, everyone's going to be looked after. So don't stress. Heresy History is, we're opening all the heresy releases of the society that we have. Exotic Cargo, Pete Fairy, Old Fashioned, Big Swell, things like that that have long gone, and we're going to open them all up and experiment with them and talk about some of these aspects and talk about some of the blends and talk about the creation of such, which is rather exciting because it's only ever going to be able to do once. That's rather cool. And the third one is split into 2 sessions, a 1 p.m. and a 3 p.m. tour of the distillery. You may have toured the distillery before. You may already know what goes on at Archie Rose. Even if you have, it's a $10 tour, and it includes a preview of some of their upcoming releases. you'll be the first people in Australia, or indeed the world outside of the blending team, to taste what they're doing at Archie Rose. Like, this is very, very cool. So I'd encourage you to book in for that. That is a members only one, however. That is society members only. However, the other two are open to everyone. So we'd love to see you there. And that's really all I wanted to touch on tonight. There's some of the Archie Rose events coming up. Have a drink with you all tonight. Just a brief live catch up, like we'd like to do. I hope you're all jamming on something nice tonight. Like I said. Good question from Dr. Akers. When do we see the next heresy? I saw Benelux spruik it for their members. Yes, Benelux. Well, Benelux is a bit closer to the UK branch than Australia is geographically. So I think it's fair to say they'll probably get it first. We'll get ours very soon. Don't worry. It's called Black Oak. It's coming through. If you've already seen it on the Instagram, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we'll do a full release to our members soon on that one. There we go. I'll just leave that up on screen just for another few seconds so you can see the 3 events coming up next week at Archie Rose. The tickets for Challenge the Panel are through Archie Rose, but the other 2 are through the Society website. And we'd love to see you there. I'm going to open some really special drops. We're going to go through some of the back catalogue of Archie Rose drams. We're going to go through all sorts of things. It is going to be, like I say, a socially distanced bar pop-up. And so limited numbers to upstairs and downstairs, but we're taking over the whole venue, and we'd love to see you there. It supports the industry, supports the bar staff, supports everything that's going on at Archie Rose. So we can keep a local industry going, and we love working with those guys because they're fantastic. Chichibu cast 5763, the Ritz-Carlton for me. Well, nice for some. Yeah, that sounds rather nice. Well, in the meantime, I'm going to leave you all. Love you all, and thank you so much for being a part of the live streams. Thank you so much for being a part of the society. I will see you all again next week. Monday, we'll kick off with some live again. I might even do some over the weekend. I say that at most weeks, and this week I think I will, because why not? Bit of fun, actually. We're going to see some of the. I might do some Instagram lives for with some of my whiskey cooking. I'm going to be looking at doing tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great night, have a great Friday, and I'll catch you all on the other side. And cheerio.